Hey, Lizards, Gizmo here. I wanted to share some of the cigars we'll be smoking in April and May so you could smoke along with us if you'd like. For Cubans, we got Cohiba Siglo II, El Rey del Mundo Schwa Supreme, and Trinidad Colonialis coming up. And for New Worlds, we've got Padron 2000 Maduro, My Father the Judge, and Davidoff Late Hour in Churchill, with much, much more to come. Have a suggestion? Email us, loungelizardspod@gmail.com. That's loungelizardspod@gmail.com. And now let's get into the episode. Welcome to the Lounge Lizards podcast. It's so good to have you here. It's a leisure and lifestyle podcast founded on our love of premium cigars, as well as whiskey, travel, food, work, and whatever else we feel like getting into. My name is Gizmo, and tonight I'm joined by Rooster, Pooba, Senator Pagoda, and Bam Bam. And our plan is to smoke a cigar, drink some scotch, talk about life, and of course, have some laughs. So take this as your 21st official invitation to join us and become a card-carrying lounge lizard. Plan to meet us here once a week. We're going to smoke a New World cigar tonight, share our thoughts on it, and give you our formal lizard rating. We'll discuss the benefit of pacing yourself while smoking and our love of classic TV shows from the 80s and 90s, all among a variety of other things for the next hour. So sit back, get your favorite drink, light up a cigar, and enjoy as we pair Oban Little Bay with the Montecristo 1935 Anniversary Nicaragua in number 2. A dark box-pressed torpedo from Montecristo, the Nicaraguan version, 1935 Anniversary number 2. Really, really nice looking cigar. And also, I guess we're getting to be a little trendy here, boys. The number 2 cigar of the year this year with Cigar Aficionado. Number
is this
2.
Nicaraguan? It looks like it is.
It's Nicaraguan.
It's Nicaraguan.
It's a puro.
I can't. Does it say that on the band? I can't.
Yeah, right on the bottom of the circle, right under Montecristo.
Yeah, Nicaragua series.
Yeah, like when you look at the foot, it almost looks like that.
Yeah, it's very nicely rolled.
Yeah.
Good construction.
Yeah.
Construction's outstanding. Looks
Look-
beautiful.
Looks can be deceiving, as we know.
Absolutely.
Oh, we know that.
All right, so let's cut this thing, see what the cold draw is like. So these cigars were about $19 a piece when I picked them up.
I have to say the wrapper is beautiful on this cigar.
It is dark,
It,
oily.
it smells beautiful,
It
and on the
does.
cold draw, I feel like I get really like dark cocoa, a little leather.
Yeah.
Very Padron-esque.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
I think chocolatey is very appropriate for this cigar. Like,
very dark chocolate.
yeah, like very dark chocolate. As Grinder would say, cacao.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
I have very high hopes for this cigar. Not only in how it looks and how it is on the cold draw here. I'm being
Just-
number 2. I'm hoping it's great.
Just smell the wrapper. I
Yeah.
really love the.
So
aroma.
it's funny you're saying that. I'm reading the wrapper. It's a combination of peanut shells, sweet earth, leather, barnyard, hay, a bit of oak. And the
It's a-
cold draw brings flavors of creamy oak, leather, earth tones, clay.
Wrong cigar.
No, it's the cigar. That's what I'm reading here.
And this was
Just on
this,
the wrapper?
With a touch of sweetness. No, cold draw and a
palate is-
wrapper.
my-
Rooster, pipe down.
My palate is fucked.
No, I was saying to smell the wrapper. That's what
Yeah.
I'm talking about. Smell the wrapper.
All right, let's light this baby. The Montecristo 1935 Anniversary. Of course, the Nicaraguan version of Montecristo, not the Cuban. And this is a cigar that was made for the 85th anniversary of Montecristo. And it is a box press torpedo, as we mentioned. 52 ring gauge by 6 and 1/8.
You really got to light this thing.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
having
you do.
I'm gonna be out of fluid pretty soon.
if you put it to your mouth and do a direct hit, like and just flare it, it fires right up.
very Nicaraguan on the light. Kind of getting like a coffee thing. Little chocolate.
Agree. Coffee, chocolate, and leather. Those are like the
Yeah.
3 dominant notes I get.
I'm getting primarily leather right now.
Has anybody smoked a Nicaraguan Montecristo before? Because I have not. Have any of you guys had one of these?
Not the Nicaraguan. I've had some
Yeah.
couple of white labels.
Yes.
Those are Dominican.
Yeah. I've had the white label too.
I've had the white label, but there's a Nicaraguan like that's adjacent to that, which I've had. I think it has an orange and white label,
Might
if I'm not
be.
mistaken. And I had one of those, and I remember it being pretty good.
Yeah, I feel like the Nicaraguan series is relatively new for Montecristo. I feel like within the last few years, I saw them come out with that. I haven't. This is the first one I've had of it. I think the other Nicaraguan one, it's a blue band.
I've seen
Yeah.
those.
Yeah,
I don't know
never
if that's a
tried it.
cheaper. I don't know if that's like an entry level. I don't know where that falls in the line. But what I find interesting about this is obviously we smoked the 1935 Linea from Cuba, which obviously marked the year that Montecristo was founded. But this cigar is an 85th anniversary, released in 2020 of the name. And Cuban Montecristo Habanos did not release a cigar in celebration of their 85th year, which is pretty interesting that they're doing it with the Nicaraguans. Well, Habanos isn't, but you know what I mean. A lot of smoke output on this thing.
Yeah,
Draw is perfect.
Very good combustion. Excellent draw.
Yeah, very nice. Burning
Full-
great so far.
Full flavored.
Right off the bat, full flavor.
I'm pretty impressed with the cigar so far.
Same.
No, I was wrong. So I had smoked one of these. It was a Romeo. It was that cigar, but Nicaraguan. It was a Romeo
1875, right?
1875 Nicaraguan.
Yeah.
Um,
How was that? Was it pretty decent?
it was okay. I mean, my uncle Mark gave it to me. Oh, well, it doesn't matter. But it was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This definitely has those hints of Padron that I certainly look for when I'm lighting up a high level Padron.
Yeah.
I hesitate to compare many cigars to Padron.
Don't
but
do it.
Giz is exactly right. I'm sorry. I feel like already just when you're holding the cigar, right, the box press,
It feels like
you
it,
start
yeah.
thinking Padron, and the flavors. It's really rich, and it's not hitting me in the back of my throat. It's smooth in delivering it. So far, it's off to a good start.
So far, so good.
I'm getting a weird medicine-y type of, I can't explain it, put my finger on it. Minerally, maybe, very minerally. A little different for me.
I think it's interesting too that in the Cigar Aficionado top 25 this year, both number 1 and number 2 were torpedoes. The Padron was a torpedo, which is obviously a Nicaraguan, but a natural. And this is certainly, I would call this a Maduro wrapper.
I love a torpedo. I mean, I think most of us smoke more Robustos than probably any other shape, but second for me in terms of just preference, I love a torpedo. Obviously, we did the Bellicosos Finos we've reviewed, Pargas P2, and I'm loving a box pressed torpedo as well.
Yeah. I mean, so far, this is it's pleasant, but
It's powerful.
It is powerful.
It stays with you on the front of your tongue.
Getting some woodiness too, like little
Agree.
woody notes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like sweetness in the front, a
Yeah.
little pepper in the back.
Yeah.
And so far, so good, but we'll see. That can change.
The cigar
Like, you
comes
know,
in.
what when on previous reviews and some of these newer world cigars, you know, you get, but I can tell you one thing, the difference between this and one of the more recent cigars, this is not, however it was stored, like you can just tell there's no sponginess here. There's
it's
no
way better.
weirdness. It's just, it's way better. It feels good. It feels like it's supposed to feel.
Well, I'm happy because the retailer I got these from is definitely a place I'm going to go back because I saw that they kept their humidor at 67. And when I was in there, I saw it after it settled, after the door was open. It's a tighter room. It's not a big place. So it's certainly more manageable. So I'm definitely going to be going there again.
Cool.
It's high praise. It meets the gizmo test.
Yeah. I was surprised that when I saw 67 on two different hygrometers in that humidor, I was pretty impressed.
Nice.
So the thing that surprised me about this stick, I haven't had many non-Cuban Montes. I think Rooster mentioned the Montecristo white label, which is non-Cuban. I've had that. It's like a really nice, just morning smoke, very smooth, easy smoking, creamy. But I feel like maybe I've had one or two other Montes, and they're not super flavorful. And I'm just amazed. I mean, it's cool to see them make a Nicaraguan Puro where this has got like a lot of flavor, like a Padron would, and I'm pleased so far.
It's really good. I mean, like I said, this is it's probably the closest thing that I've ever tasted to a Padron. That's not a Padron.
Yeah, it's unusual to see a Monty this flavorful.
Yeah.
How's everyone's draw?
Excellent.
Mine's perfect.
Good?
Excellent.
Yeah.
Mine's good.
Mine's
I
a-
saw
mine's a
Rooster
little
having a.
Mine's a little tight.
Do you need a perfect draw?
Yeah, I have one.
Okay.
Why don't you try the Gizmo cut? I think it might help.
Yeah, take another half an inch off.
Make it a Robusto.
So this cigar comes in 3 other Vitolas.
Okay.
Churchill, Toro, and one called a Demi.
I saw that today. It was like thin and
That's a thin Toro,
yeah.
more or less.
And all of these are box pressed, I take it?
Yes.
They all were
Nice.
box
Yeah.
pressed. I didn't see
Yes.
they didn't have the Churchill where I bought these today.
I'm glad you
Um,
didn't get that.
Yeah, of course. Well, I wanted to get this one because it was number 2, but
I'm getting something a little bitter.
Me too, a bit. Yeah,
I'm getting some bitterness,
I
which
had
is
that-
not pleasant.
I had that from the beginning, but it was serviceable because of the other nice notes that we had.
I don't know if it's the same thing you're getting, Pooh, but I'm getting a little bit of a Tatuaje vibe in kind of the aftertaste there. I don't know if I want to
That's
call
very-
that bitterness,
very fair.
but
It's fair.
it I wouldn't say the pleasant side of Tatuaje is what I'm getting there, not what I would chase in that cigar that I like, but
I mean,
Yeah.
through the nose, it's super strong.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
like,
didn't try it
It'll
yet.
make your fucking eyes blow up.
I won't
you
do
can't
that.
do it.
Nope.
oh yeah, whoa.
No.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
It's, yeah.
Yeah, that's a very strong retrohale.
So, you know, if you blind tested me against and maybe put this up against a Padron of some sort, I think I could pick it out. I mean,
Oh
it's-
yeah, you can.
Definitely. And
it's
100%. You would pick it out.
I don't mean to say this is as good as a Padron. I don't think this has the smoothness or the creaminess that even some of the more earthy Padrones that we smoke, or stronger Padrones per se that we smoke. But I don't know, just some of the similar flavor
Yeah,
notes.
that's the thing. To Gizmo's point, I think whenever we make Padron comparisons, there will never be a cigar that's truly like a Padron. But Padron is sort of the benchmark, I feel like, for a full flavored cigar that does not like punch you in your face with nicotine. And this has a lot of flavor. It's not punching me with nicotine, but I mean, is it as smooth and wonderful and tasty as a Padron? No. But so far, I don't hate this cigar. There are notes I like. The construction's been good. I like the white ash on this stick. Pagoda, I'm curious. You really like full flavored cigars. This has a lot of
This
flavor.
is right down your power alley.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of really, in 2 minds. It's really interesting. I know you mentioned Padron, but I initially thought, oh, is it more like the late hour? Because as you guys know, that's one of my favorite cigars, and it started off with that coffee-ish, chocolatey taste, which I kind of really liked. But the jury is still out. I just find like a lot of these, like this particular cigar, I think I might have tried it once before in one of the Montecristo lounges in New York City. Had stepped in and we were smoking over there, so you're expected to buy a couple of cigars to just hang out there. And I remember trying it, and I thought it was pretty good. I didn't know whether I would go and pick up a stick for $20, because there are a lot of better alternatives at the price.
oh yeah.
No doubt about that.
But at this point, the jury's still out. I think I do find that this is not very as good. The construction, maybe it's not. It's like one of those aging rooms, like I feel like they're not very dense rolls. They don't feel like heavy cigars. They feel very light to kind of hold. I don't know how to express it.
Well, I think it's
Um,
it's full.
It's full. You know,
Full-
the aging
full-
room comparison is very fair with this cigar.
Yeah.
I was saying
Absolutely.
the same to myself.
That's a great point, Pagoda. I've had a few of those. You know, I had bought a box about 2 years ago. I went through them. Very reminiscent. It's a great.
Interesting.
I
Great
like
analogy.
the aging room comparison too. I feel like the flavor profile is similar, like Pagoda mentioned. Where I give this more credit than I certainly do that aging room is there are not as many rough edges in this as there were that aging room. That aging room, the back of my throat, every one of those cigars I smoked, and I can't believe that got cigar of the year a few years ago. it was super rough around the edges. I mean, it needed to age. You know, the irony, obviously, aging room and the fucking cigars are not aged. But this stick doesn't give me that experience. So I appreciate this more than I certainly did that aging room.
Yeah, I mean, at this price point, I would say, and I would pick up excluding Padrones, taking Nicaraguan. If you're talking Nicaraguan puros, taking Padron off the table, I'd buy the Davidoff box press Nicaraguan over this at this price point all day, every day, and twice on Sunday.
100%.
Absolutely.
I
And I
agree.
think to your point about price, I mean, the Padron #1 cigar of the year is also a Torpedo. Is going to give you a similar size to this, probably a similar smoke time, even if not a little longer. And that's less expensive than this cigar.
How much was this?
This was about $19 with tax, $20.
So about the same price as the Liga 9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot more
I mean,
tobacco.
Liga
Well,
9 is very satisfying.
Actually, the Liga was a little cheaper than this.
Really?
17.
And yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
right.
1775.
And that to me is a home run hitter compared to this.
What is this wrapper?
I would smoke that. I would smoke that Liga. I'd smoke
Above
the Liga
this.
above this, over this.
I'm with
Sorry,
you.
I just have to ask, what is this wrapper? It's really, really dark.
It's. I don't think it's a Maduro.
It looks like a Maduro.
It does. But
I'm just curious. I mean, this is one of the darkest wrappers.
I
you
don't
see
think
on a
they,
stick.
so I'll say this, I don't think they offer it in any other wrapper.
You might be right.
So I think that this is it. I don't know what they're calling this, but
Oh yeah, no, I have no doubt this is the
Yeah.
only wrapper. I'm just curious what this is made
Well,
of.
they're
Is this
calling
a
it a-
Maduro, a Connecticut broadleaf.
They're calling it it's a Nicaraguan a wrapper. The binder's Nicaraguan, the fillers, so it's a puro, but they're not coming out and naming that wrapper.
got it.
Yeah.
So I have to say, I mean, my cigar was kind of
Yeah, how did surgery go?
really tight, but that perfect draw, what a tool.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody should have one.
Are you up to speed now?
Yeah,
There you
definitely.
go.
It just totally opened up.
Nice.
It got like a nice little chunk and
Love that tool.
really opened up. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, for me, if I was smoking this, if like let's say this was the only cigar I had for the evening or something, this would be something that I would smoke. Everyone has a different pace. Pagoda's pace is faster than mine. Bam's pace is faster than mine. I'm somewhere in the middle. I would tend to smoke this slow. Rooster's probably a step slower than me. I'm kind of in the middle,
Yeah.
maybe.
I'm just slow in general.
But I would smoke this. I would need to smoke this slow. There's some cigars you can pick up the pace on that are more medium bodied, you know. But this, I think, I would need to just take it easy.
So are you,
It's there's a lot there.
so is it too much oomph that makes you want to, take more time between each draw? Is it flavor? Is it strength? What is it
I
for
feel
you?
like when if I let it heat up too much, it gets
Got it.
bitter.
Got it.
What's
I
interesting
mean, I
though-
also. Oh, sorry.
Now, what's interesting, I want to piggyback on what you said, Senator. Doesn't get you in the back of the throat, though. For me, it's right up front.
Yeah.
So it makes it palatable, right? Because if you get it in the back, like the aging room, that's hard to take.
Yeah, it starts to dry your throat
Yeah.
out.
I was getting into it a little bit. I mean, with any cigar, if you heat it up too much, it's not going to perform great. But there's some cigars you can tackle it. You can push it through. With this, it's like if you do that with this, I was having the experience where that bitterness becomes more pronounced.
Yeah, I mean, to Puba's point, where I agree is, I just feel like maybe I'm alone in this. Maybe other guys feel the same way. Any cigar that puts out a tremendous amount of flavor, which I would describe this as a lot of flavor. I would describe the Liga 9 we smoked as a lot of flavor. I would describe a Padron 90th as a lot of flavor. And that's, I'm getting a similar experience of all of those cigars. And, I like some of those more than I do others. But to Puba's point, all three of those sticks I just named, I smoke slower because the flavor that you get, it's just so intense. You just kind of need to
Savor
slow it down
Yeah.
that journey and savor it to Rooster's point, where for other sticks that are medium full that I love, the flavor is not so intense that I need to pause to appreciate it. I can digest that and I'm ready for the next puff.
Yeah.
And on this, it's like so lingering. You don't need to draw as often.
Yeah, it can conclude. It has a very long finish.
Okay,
That's
that's
it.
a great way to put
That's
it.
That's a
It
very
has
good way
a
to
very
put it.
long finish. So
It does.
between draws, like the taste. So if with this cigar, for the listener, I think the conclusion is if you're smoking this, it has a very long finish, and in between draws, it's going to hang around. So if you pile it on, if you pile it on and pile it on and pile it on, it has the potential, depending on who you are, to become maybe just a little too much.
Agreed.
It is a lot like the Padron 90th, I must say. I
Yep.
mean, the 90th has very similar flavor profile.
This is tastier, though. I'm sorry, the 90th.
90th
Forget what I
is-
just
yeah,
said. The
true.
90, it's much tastier.
True, but similar notes I'm picking up from this. This might have maybe a hint more pepper,
Agree.
right?
The middle's like good, you know. If you pause between draws, and I think if you smoke this, that's the way that that's good for you. It's becoming more enjoyable. If I take a draw every 45 seconds or a minute or so and take my time with it, that next draw is much more pleasurable than if I sped it up.
And I think the thing that's benefiting what you're saying here is the construction is it is a well constructed cigar, so it's not going to burn. It's not going to go out on you. It's burning razor sharp. I think everybody's having that same experience. Certainly now, Rooster, after having
So,
done surgery.
yeah.
But
I have a question. So when Cigar Aficionado rates this as the number 2 cigar,
yeah,
do you notice like the prices go up?
oh yeah, all the
You know, do
retailers
the-
put the signs out.
Retailers, like, they kind of price gouge a little bit. and
Sure,
prices
why
totally.
go
not?
up
It's
a little bit.
retail.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the MSRP is on this.
It's
and,
just under $17 the MSRP.
it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think for what
I mean,
this
when,
cigar
when
is,
Jordache gets hot at your store, you mark that shit up.
You're dating him now.
I'm making a joke.
I will say though, if this cigar was a little less expensive, not that I would rate it different or think differently of it, I would certainly be more willing to reach for it again in moments where I'm looking for this type of flavor. But at $19, whatever we're gonna call it, between 17 and 20, I don't know if I would, because I think there's other cigars out there that will give me something similar for less.
That's the thing, because the cigars that we've talked about that have similar flavor notes, right? Rooster was explaining how the notes are really similar to the Padron 90th, which I agree with. That's like a $20 stick. This is 19. The Liga 9 was 17. They're all right around the same price point. And so I can't help it. It's going to factor certainly into my head as I'm rating this cigar where that stacks up against those, because I feel like they're all competing for that occasion that you would reach for a really full flavored, rich cigar like one of those three.
Yeah. Plus, when you buy a box of the Padron 90th, it comes in a 10-pack. The box is beautiful, and they come in tubes.
Beautiful burgundy
And
tubes.
it's one of the few Padrones that are not box pressed. It's got a beautiful presentation.
It's the only one.
the
This
Only
is-
one that's not box pressed.
Yeah.
This is coming around a little bit for me. I'm not, if someone gifted me this, if I would, if I'm really just taking my time, I like it a lot more. A lot more.
I got a question for you. So I'm about halfway through. Are you getting a hint of sweetness? Because I'm getting it
Yeah.
now. Yeah.
Sweetness and a little cinnamon I'm getting now.
I'm not getting a baking spice, but I'm getting sweetness for sure.
Yeah, a little bit of the it's like a sweet pepper, cinnamony kind of spicy. It's not
It's pleasant.
unbalanced
It definitely made it out of the first third without me wanting to complain about it, which I'm actually kind of surprised about in a way. But I guess we'll see what
It's
happens
got
here.
nice white ash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tight.
I could see how somebody would really like this. I mean, absolutely. This is
I'd like to see Puba smoke it all the way down.
Pagoda is almost done with this. Really.
I was about to say,
It's down to the band.
Do you guys know who blended this?
AJ. Right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
AJ
It's just like
Fernandez.
all
AJ.
roads. I feel like all New World roads lead back to AJ Fernandez.
It's-
Like Altadis had him blend this.
The product actually is grown on their farm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good tobacco. There's no doubt about it. It's just if it's your jam or not. It's just if this type of Nicaraguan Puro is your jam, and you're like really into that, I think that I could see being like really into it. I would smoke this cigar again.
You think if you kept it in your box for a year, it'd smooth out and get better?
You know, it's a maybe. I don't know. Maybe. But like I could see if I was gifted this cigar in the right setting and I had scotch, a big scotch, and I had all the time in the world kind of thing, and I could smoke it at the pace that I want to smoke it.
Which is kind of where you are. Which is kind of where you are. Yeah, very relaxed. You have a really nice scotch next to you, and you're smoking cigar, relaxing with buddies.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, I guess we're not in a rush. I mean, you know, I'm not implying we're in a rush. I was just if I was at let's say if I was at the Grand Havana Room, the days of old, pre-pandemic, you know, and you sit in that chair and you're looking out at the view and you're there and you're sitting there or something, and it was a business meeting and someone passed me the cigar and you had the time I could totally smoke this and just be like, and not be angry about it or disappointed too much about it. I wouldn't be thrilled about it. I wouldn't be like, this is the exact thing I want, but I wouldn't be.
For me, these cigars like this have one very clear place in my, I won't even say rotation because it's not something I smoke regularly, but it's got a clear occasion. And it's, if I've had like a substantial dinner and I'm only going to have one cigar after that.
Yeah.
That's when I would light up a Liga 9, a Padron 90th, this cigar. Outside of that, when I'm meeting up with the lizards and we're throwing back a few scotches and having, 3, 4, 5 sticks, that's not where I would slot this in. So that's why I wouldn't make my regular rotation, but it would have, it would be for that particular occasion.
That's where I was kind of going with it. Like if there was like if I was meeting with someone and they said, here's this cigar and we're doing business or something, and I had the smoke that, it was like, okay. And and someone gifted it to me.
You would be polite.
And it was the one cigar we were having for the night, not like how we smoked 6 cigars in an evening type of thing. I would smoke I would smoke it. I'd be content with smoking it and move on with my life. I think it would be it's perfectly fine after a dinner. Like, you're going I'd be perfectly fine with it.
It's funny you guys talk about that
cigar.
because not this specific cigar, but something that we've called similar. With the 90th, what I love about the tubo is when I went to a wedding recently, I threw it in my pocket in the tubo. It was good all night, and that was the one cigar I was able to have for an hour at the wedding. It was perfect, and this would be very similar to that, to your point. You're stuffing your face with a lot of food. You're having a few drinks, you're outside maybe.
Yeah, you got a little bit of a load on.
Exactly.
You got some drinks in you.
Yeah. You're having a good time. You're dancing a little bit.
Right. You need a big
doing the
heavy
Macarena
stick to get you, making you feel good. This, similar to the Liga, it does have some nicotine now down the stretch, and it gives you that little bit of a nick kick where you're like, I feel kind of good. Like, this is making me feel good.
Do you think to go back to the speed of smoking, do you think if you smoke this too fast, you'd get the jitters a little bit? Is it that kind of strength in nicotine?
I haven't done that, but I'm on a full stomach.
That's the thing. I just feel like with any of these types of cigars we're talking about, if you are on an empty stomach,
you're going to be in trouble.
You would not reach for any of those.
You
sticks.
are in trouble.
Yeah, you'd be in trouble.
It's not a criticism of the cigars. It's just they're really, really strong, full flavored cigars. Yeah. So you want to have a meal before.
Well, that's what we always joke about Rooster smoking these crazy cigars in the morning, like a Padron 90th. I mean, I don't know how he does it. I would never be able to do a cigar like that in the morning. No way.
Primitive palate.
All right, boys, let's talk about the scotch we got tonight. Oban Little Bay single malt from the West Highland Coastal Malt. Very cool. Small cask. You guys said you've had this before. I've not.
You have. You just don't remember it.
Oh, jeez.
You've had it when in my backyard around a fire pit.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay.
This was popular. Senator would bring this to the lounge, and I had never had it before. Let me look at the outer box.
Nice presentation of the box.
And the price point on this is pretty reasonable. It's like $42 bucks.
Okay.
No age statement though on that thing.
No.
Correct.
But it's very drinkable. I mean, it tastes really good for the price point. I think you can't beat it. Unless we're talking Kirkland. And so I was drinking this for a while, and then I kind of, similar to Senator, I kind of moved away from it. But I would definitely, if I was drinking Scotch, quote unquote, in mass or something on a
Which you would never do.
which I would never.
I've never seen
do.
it.
I like it. I mean,
It's very tasty.
yeah.
So why did you, Senator, why did you decide to bring this one with this specific cigar?
So I did not bring this. Pagoda.
Oh,
brought
excuse
this.
me. Pagoda, you brought it. I thought Senator did. I'm sorry
No,
about
no,
that.
no, no. I had just suggested
me.
it with this cigar. Look, my role is simply to suggest pairings, but these lizards have all very generously brought a lot of these fine spirits that we pair and taste with these cigars. The funny story, though, behind Little Bay, how I think this infiltrated this group. It was not me that found it. I'll admit, I don't really ever pick up a Scotch that doesn't have an age statement. So I'll just admit I had a bias against this when I saw it when it came out, and I said this is just probably Oban. They've got all this extra shit they need to get rid of, so they just bottled it, didn't put an age statement, and put it at a really affordable price point. And the way I first tried this, and then I think a number of us who were at the lounge that day, someone at a cigar lounge of us brought a bottle of this and swore it was really good. And I was very skeptical, as I was Kirkland. And that little tasting happened at the lounge first. And they put it head to head in a blind tasting against Oban 14, which we all know and love.
Yes, we do.
And we
And-
did that on the pod.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe blind, almost every guy picked this over Oban 14. And I was just floored. Now, what's strange about this, and maybe I'm crazy, I have this weird suspicion when they first came out with this, I picked this blind over 14. I was very impressed. I was buying it a lot. We were, in the early pandemic days, sitting outside around a fire pit, and the world was a strange place. Not that it's not still a strange place. And we were drinking a lot of this stuff, and everyone really liked it. And then for some reason, it seemed, I noticed the price started going up on this. They had sucked a lot of customers in, and I feel it does not taste the same as it did when it first was released. I think now it has more of a bite to it. I remember it being a lot smoother. So I fell
And
out of
sweeter,
love with this.
a little sweeter.
I agree with that as
Yeah.
well. And so I fell out of love with this because I feel this could be my mind playing tricks on me. I don't think it's the same composition as when they first came out with it, and then they needed to produce it in a lot greater quantity once they sucked everyone in. When this first was released, it was $40 a bottle. Now it's closer to 50.
Huh. I didn't notice that same thing. But I may like it better than the Scotch we had on one of the previous episodes that's kind of adjacent to this. Maybe it's more expensive, but maybe the Glenmorangie
Glenmorangie
or
10.
Glenmorangie, sorry.
I'm with you there.
Glenmorangie 10.
I think this tastes better than the 10.
I would drink this over that.
Yeah,
That I
this is
agree
really
with.
nice.
I know Grinder loves the Glenmorangie 10. I really am not a huge fan of that Scotch. I'm with you, Puba. I would definitely drink this over the Glenmorangie 10.
Yeah, this is more flavorful. It's
Agree.
Clear.
I'm not a Scotch expert, so I mispronounced that. But I mean, I like this better. For me personally, if I had to just buy a bottle of it, I would like it better. It just doesn't. It's smoother to me. It's a little bit sweeter, which is okay for me.
Yeah, the only thing, if you have this neat, it's got a bite. With
Yeah,
ice,
we all
it's
have
great.
a few cubes in there. Yeah.
But I took an early sip before any of the ice melted just to see if it's still, and it's got a bite. But the flavor is great. I mean, to your point, it's got like that sweet kind of sherry-like flavor that we
Yeah.
like. Like, I like the flavor profile of it.
Yeah, there's no peat whatsoever.
Right.
It's not it's not smoky.
You know what's cool is the word Oban is Gaelic for Little Bay. So that's what Oban
Oh.
means.
Interesting.
So they call it the Oban Little Bay because that's the Gaelic meaning of the word. Which is pretty cool.
You're the master of useless information.
I am. It's on the back of the box. So
You're like the Cliff. You're
I'm
like
just
the
trying to
Cliff-
keep up with Grinder's
you're
not
like
here.
The Cliff Clavin of this.
Exactly, Puba. Exactly.
All you need is a mail carrier uniform.
And who's coach in the group? I'd like to know.
Ernie Pantuso.
This is pretty cool. I'm reading a little bit about this. I know Grinder would be able to do a full dissertation on Oban, and I'm envious of him with that. But what's cool about this is they say that obviously Oban has been around since 1794, which we've talked about on a previous pod. But they said that they distill this in their small stills, which need to be rested between batches. And what that does is it gives more copper contact to the Scotch to create their rich flavors, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, which we were talking about with Grinder. In fact, when Grinder was really breaking down the high stills versus the low stills, he was saying how the high stills there's less particulates and the low stills there's more. And I think it imparts a bit more body, the low stills, to the Scotch, where the Glenmorangie 10-year, which he said comes from high stills, like it's very light. I mean, you look at the color, even the glass, it's like a tequila almost.
Yeah.
Very good Scotch.
Thank
you, Pagoda.
Thank you, Pagoda. Going back to Cheers, by the way. So I was going to put this. We have a group text. I was going to put this out on the group text. So I've been watching Cheers on Hulu. Now, I must say I'm a little bit older than some in the room. So maybe you guys, then a couple of the guys,
The young ones over here.
The youngins. But I've been watching because it's comforting to me.
Very comforting.
So there's certain shows that from your childhood.
Absolutely.
Cheers is one.
Yep.
MASH is one.
Yep.
That's another one that's really kind of comforting to watch. Like when you're going to sleep.
Yeah.
I Love Lucy.
It's perfect timing for that.
It's perfect timing for that, right?
They didn't hear me.
No.
I said I love Lucy.
Yeah, I love Lucy.
That's more Rooster's time frame.
But we watched a lot of I
was
Love
more
Lucy.
into Sanford.
I did.
Sanford and
I
Son.
did. Lucy.
Sanford.
Oh, yeah. You big dummy, you.
So I was going to mention this in the text. Kirstie Alley, back in the day, boy, oh boy.
I had many hard-ons over her.
Wow. Is she a good-looking woman?
She was, yeah.
I mean, she was
She was.
good-looking woman. So
I'm reminiscing right now.
yeah, man. I'm telling you, just revisit starting with season 6.
Can you reminisce when you're alone, Ben?
Yeah.
Of Cheers. Well, things can get dangerous when Dan gets excited. But I got to tell you, she was a beautiful woman. And when you go back, so Shelley Long on Cheers was like, to me, was so annoying as a character. With her whole character was annoying to me. But the minute it switches to Kirstie Alley as Rebecca Howe, the show for me gets better, like exponentially better. And because she's a smoke show.
She is.
And Shelley Long, to me, there's nothing that's attractive about her, including her personality, her affect, the whole thing. I never understood it. But the minute that show switches to Rebecca Howe and Sam sells the bar and to that corporation, right? Remember all this, guys?
Yeah,
Remember?
It was dramatic.
It's dramatic. And she has the crush on the owner of the parent company.
Right.
And anyway, but I was sending. I mean, when you look at Kirstie Alley, she's a lunatic Scientologist.
But back in the day,
smoke show, such a smoke show, man.
But,
So
but
good
you know
looking.
what? Sam had a thing for Shelley.
yeah,
Right.
oh yeah, of course.
There was some chemistry between
Yeah,
them.
big time.
There was, but that's a funny show.
What years was Cheers on the air?
Late
80s? Was it
80s?
11 seasons, probably.
Okay.
Yeah, late 80s.
So like mid 80s to early 90s
Yeah,
type
like-
of thing?
after Three's Company.
Yeah, you'd have to wiki it. I mean, it was on, I think, 11 seasons. A long time.
Before
Well, the writing
Seinfeld.
is so good. It's
So this
laugh
is
out loud.
this is Seinfeld before Seinfeld as far as popular culture and
Oh,
stuff,
yeah.
right?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah,
This
okay.
is one of
before
the greatest.
Friends, before Friends,
Yeah.
before
Yeah.
Seinfeld.
It really puts like the modern sitcom, maybe like you could argue like on
Early 80s.
Can I ask
Well,
a
like
question? Did
Mid-
you
Yeah, mid
Mid-80s.
80s.
did we
yeah.
get the lounge lizard's name from Cheers? Wasn't there didn't you send us a clip where somebody said something in the show about a lounge
Oh,
lizard?
that was a one-liner from Cheers that I sent you guys, but that's not where we got it
Oh,
from.
okay, got it,
I think it
okay.
originated with I would walk into the lounge and say, "What's up, lounge lizards?"
Got
all
it.
the time.
Okay. All right.
How good was Norm? No,
Oh, the
love
one-liners.
Norm. Who doesn't love Norm?
What's funny, I don't know anything about the show and I know Norm. I know Ted Danson and Norm. That's
So
what
it
I
went
know.
from 82 to 93,
Wow.
which is
Great
a
show.
long,
Good run.
long run.
Yep.
Long
I'll
run.
have to watch it.
Well, yeah, and then Woody Harrelson
Yeah.
comes on to the show after Coach dies.
Yep.
So it's like what the Woody Harrelson and Kirstie Alley years are really funny.
They were. I love Coach though. I loved him.
Oh, he was.
Was
great.
the entire show set in the bar? Was there anything outside the bar?
Yeah, they would
okay,
go outside
okay,
the bar,
okay.
but it was mainly in the
Mostly,
bar.
mostly in the bar.
And
that-
Frasier and Lilith.
Frasier.
yeah.
It's very funny.
Senator, this is one of those shows you watch on
I
Hulu.
wanted to bend Lilith over.
You know, in
Something
real,
about her.
Always
Well,
back to
in
Bam's
real-
stick.
You know,
Always back to Bam's stick.
no, but in real life,
No, listen to this.
in real life, like they dressed her down in the cast. The cast that is, what is her name in real life?
She was the ultimate prude that you wanted to
BB Newworth.
Unprude.
unprude and unpluck, if you want to call it that.
Jesus Christ.
Undress.
Dr. Lilith Sternin, played by Beatrice BB Newworth. In real life, she's an attractive woman.
Yes.
They dumbed her, you know, they made her into a real stiff.
Librarian.
Yeah.
Senator, this is one of those shows you watch on Hulu, and it has the black bars on the side.
Oh yeah.
No, it doesn't have black bars on the side.
In fairness, we grew up with shows with black bars.
I
all
know.
over
I'm
the side.
kidding.
Yes,
I'm
you
kidding.
did.
I'm kidding.
I'm like watching like during the pandemic, like ER with my wife, and there are black bars on the side of that.
ER.
Yeah,
I
ER
loved
was a
ER.
great show.
Great
Loved
show.
ER. Great show.
What a man.
Well, that's why I always wanted to bring this up. So, like, I love some of these classic television shows. You know,
ER
like,
was great.
ER was awesome.
The cast was phenomenal.
Hilarious.
Juliana Margulies, Noah Wiley, George Clooney, Eric LaSalle.
Dude,
Yep.
What a great show. What a great show.
awesome
a
show.
wonderful show.
And now these shows that they put out, like Chicago Fire and like Texas Emergency, like
Grey's
these shows-
Anatomy. Fuck all of these.
Well,
horrible
the
shows.
writing back then in some of these shows, this because the sitcom was so big, it was such a revenue generator for NBC on Thursday nights. It was like Thursday nights prime time. I mean, you only had so many things on television. I mean, people looked forward to these episodes, like the last episode of Friends. The writing on Friends was good.
We had no internet.
Yeah, right.
None of that existed. And the writing was very witty. And it wasn't sharp as a knife. It was like a dull butter knife. It was really pleasurable.
Bam, help me understand. How did you survive without Siri?
I don't fucking know. Looking back, I don't know.
Maybe
I
the-
can't.
a blonde on Three's Company.
Oh,
Suzanne Summers.
which one?
Suzanne Summers.
Wow.
Oh,
Suzanne
Suzanne Summers.
Summers.
What a
God.
smoke show.
Oh my God.
That was softcore porn back then.
You know what? I had many hard-ons over that show too.
Hey, listen, we can go all the way back to the Brady Bunch and Marcia for that shit.
Marsha.
A few of
Wow.
the members weren't born then. By the way.
Marsha took a wrong turn in life, though, didn't she? She did-
no,
she did
no,
porn.
no, no.
She did porn.
No, not Marcia. You're
Oh,
thinking. You're
Jesus.
thinking of
She did porn.
the younger one, Cindy.
Cindy did porn?
Yeah,
Cindy does porn.
I got to look that up.
Stop it.
she did. She did like a sex tape or something.
I got to look that up.
Senator's Wi-Fi is going to be getting pinged.
No, she did. No, she went bad. No. But that's isn't it? No, she was. Marcia's life turned out totally fine.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? To go
Cindy.
back to television revenue really quick, I find it interesting. Judge Judy had the biggest show on television for years, was making $40-50 million a year.
Her fucking salary was $14 million a year.
More than that. No, she was making like 40. She left.
Put a bullet in my head,
She
please.
left regular television to go to Amazon because she wasn't making enough money.
Let me tell you something.
Go
so
ahead.
I got a confession to make.
I love it. I love it.
I am and have been for years.
Don't make me walk out of here.
100% addicted to Judge Judy.
It's the best show.
No
It's-
way.
Yes,
It's great.
And this is funny. I can't believe you brought up Judge Judy because Judge Judy. There's a thing. I've watched so many Judge Judy episodes over the years because it's like mindless. It's so mindless that sometimes you just want that.
It's like relaxingly
It's like
mindless.
relaxingly mindless.
You like
So
that?
sometimes I'll almost like read the paper and have like Judge Judy on in the background. There are some smoking hot kind of less fortunate women that appear on Judge Judy.
That's true.
And you want to know what it's interesting to do? Just try this exercise out. It may seem sick, whatever. Call me a sicko. Go on Facebook and then search the girl's name just to get additional photos of what they look like in real life. And sometimes you find out fascinating shit.
Oh my God.
So like if you see, because they'll be like, this is Anne Marie Luciano. She's suing her boyfriend Mario for back rent, and you're like, oh my God, look at this. How did someone look at this chick? She's so hot. And then you look it up on Facebook and you're like, this is what she really looks like. It's like you're putting your name out to like literally 10 million people watch that show.
Yeah.
What about Dr. Ruth? Remember that?
Oh yeah. She died recently,
You
right?
take the penis and you cup the testicle.
I forgot about that woman.
Oh yeah.
You can find the G-spot. Very important.
Is she still alive?
I think she died.
I think she
Okay.
died.
I think she died a couple years ago.
She had
So,
a radio show.
yeah, she did.
On 770.
Yeah, long time.
Yeah.
Can I just say though, the only thing that I thought was so strange. So when Judge Judy moved this show to Amazon, she didn't take the fucking bailiff.
She didn't even call him Bird.
Oh,
Bird
you know
was
how much?
great.
You know how much Bird makes? Bird made $1 million a year.
Oh,
Wow.
my
It's great.
goodness.
It's the greatest job.
That's the greatest job.
She didn't even
In
call him.
America.
He was good.
She didn't even
I
call
liked
him.
I don't know why she didn't bring him over.
Yeah.
$1 million a
My
year.
mom.
That's
so
true.
I went home this past weekend. I think you guys know, and I went to see my mom, and she's like, "Oh my God, I can't watch Judge Judy." And I said, "All right, well, let me see what I could do to help you." I know, that she moved to Amazon, IMDb Pro or something, Amazon. So I set up the Prime, and she's watching. And she goes, "Well, where's Bert?" And I'm like, first off, it's not Bert, it's Bird. His
Bert.
name is Petrie Hawkins Bird. She's like, "Well, where's Bert?" And I was like, "Well, Judge Judy didn't call her." And she hired a legal assistant, and she hired somebody to sit there and type for some reason on the show, but she never called Bird,
Yeah,
man.
it's funny that you mentioned how much he made, Puba, because I started reading about this because for whatever reason, I was just really shocked. It's like iconic. Like you just expect her and him like in the frame. And there was an interview with him where he said apparently they did not have the budget to pay him what he was making. And his frustration was he was willing to take a pay cut. And he said that Judge Judy just assumed he wouldn't do that. And so he was just pissed that she didn't even ask or offer. And that was kind of the source of.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't
it's a little bit of a
great
bummer.
parting of ways.
Yeah.
Yeah. But she can cross-examine somebody. I mean, boy, oh boy.
She has some great
She's-
one-liners, man.
She will interrogate the crap out of
Yeah, over
somebody.
$250.
Over $250.
That
She's,
takes,
she's making $40 million a year. She's grilling a guy over $300.
God.
No. It's a yes or no. Yes or no. No.
Does it say stupid on my forehead?
Yeah.
Does it say stupid on my forehead?
That's another one.
I was born at night, but it wasn't last night.
Yeah, she's
Oh,
fiery.
man. She's great. All right, so boys, back to the Montecristo 1935 Anniversary Nicaraguan. Coming down to the end here, I think we're all getting close to the last third, if not well into it, Pagoda. What do you guys think right now?
Yeah, I thought it got a bit spicy towards the end, a little more peppery. Yeah, kind of enjoyed it.
I agree with that. It's definitely spicier for me in the last third, and it's even picked up more in strength, which is hard to believe.
Yeah.
I don't hate it.
I don't either.
No.
I expected it to get rough.
I thought it would get worse, but it's
Yeah.
actually it's okay. You know, I don't hate it.
It's held its own for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, dude. If strong Nicaraguan puros are your jam, and that's what you like to rock to, this thing you'll like this cigar.
It takes a while to settle in with you, right? And once it's in, it's
Well, I think Puba made the best point about the rhythm of smoking. This is a cigar that needs to be smoked slowly to really be enjoyed.
it's a pretty good lesson, actually.
It is.
Even for me, I smoke a little too. I do smoke quickly. This needs some time in between draws.
Yeah.
Yeah, super long finish on this thing,
Mhm.
which is a test, which you could say is a virtue in this cigar, and why when they're looking at these and rating these cigars, that's a virtue.
Yeah.
It may not be for everyone, but it certainly could be looked upon as something very, very positive. I find, like I was just talking a lot, obviously, and hadn't drawn on the cigar, and now I'm in the last third, and it stayed lit.
Yeah.
And I took another draw. I probably 2 minutes went by, 2.5 minutes went by. I picked it up. I didn't have to relight it, and I got a really nice draw off of it. So I think with the cigar this powerful that packs this much of a full experience,
Yeah, starting
maybe
to
that's
feel
the
on
way to go.
on the back of your throat a little bit, right?
A touch, maybe a touch.
It's not hitting me too hard in the back of the
No.
throat, which I'm
Yeah.
thankful for, because I think if it was, it'd be drying my throat out and I wouldn't be enjoying as
I
much.
agree.
But yeah, it's definitely held up, and I think that, like we talked about, even still the burn is razor sharp. I certainly haven't touched mine up. I don't know if anybody else has, but it's burning well.
Yeah, I mean, Rooster's usually a very slow smoker. He's further along than I am on this.
Just trying to keep up with you boys.
So for the Scotch, I thought this was a really good pairing tonight. I really enjoyed it.
That's right. We have to rate this.
We have to do a formal liquor rating.
Yes, we
forgot
do.
about that.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, I think this is a pretty nice Scotch. I don't know if I'd buy it again, but I think it's pretty good.
Oh, I would buy this.
Yeah.
I have bought it like somewhat recently. Just grabbed it, playing grab that bottle in the liquor store kind
Yeah.
of thing.
I was doing that today.
You grab a couple expensive bottles of scotch or something, you may want to just grab this because, if you're drinking and doing a little volume, you may not want to just grab $85 bottle of scotch and drink that all the time. But this is
Totally.
kind of half the price.
Always
know?
need an
So-
everyday Scotch.
Yeah.
Giz, should we do it?
Yeah, I was just looking to see if there was a proof statement on the box here, but there isn't. I'm curious what the proof is on this. I'm guessing it's close to 40,
Yeah.
45, but
It's not 45.
yeah, so let's do it. Bam Bam, you're up.
I'm giving the Scotch a 7.
7. All right. Pagoda.
Kind of concur. Seven's a good score for this.
Okay.
I'm in the exact same boat. I'll give it a 7.
I'm going to give it a 6.
7.
Okay.
I'll give the Poland Spring bottle an 8.
Across 5 scores, what's the average?
How does this compare to the Kirkland?
I like it better than the Kirkland.
I think I would slot this. I think in the same spot. I think the Kirkland kind of fits in the same spot for me. I would pick the Kirkland over this.
The Kirkland's smoother than this. This has a little bit of a bite.
Yeah, I think where I would put this, I would definitely like the Kirkland. So what's the formal liquor rating there, Senator?
Formal rating is a 6.8,
6.8. Very nice.
which is a
Modest recommend.
modest recommend.
I'm surprised again that this cigar didn't get harsh toward the end here.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
I'm very surprised.
Pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely expected it to fade a little bit in my enjoyment, but it hasn't.
It's a powerful smoke.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, actually, another cigar we didn't mention that this is a little bit similar to, particularly in the last third, the Padron Black Label.
Oh yeah, but I feel like the Black Label, I don't know, it has it's like desserty in a way to me.
That's true.
It has like a dessert kind of vibe to me.
Not as much spice as this.
Yeah, it's like chocolate cake.
Like all Padrones have that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know. I'm
This
not allowed
doesn't-
to have that
Yeah,
cigar.
you're cut out on that cigar. I can't wait to have Jorge Padron on and tell him that story. I can't wait.
But it's what's interesting is that we've been comparing this with some really high-end premium cigars.
It's true.
It's true. It's not easy to make a full flavored cigar like this that is not so aggressive that you're getting that feeling we are all saying we don't want in the back of your throat as you're smoking it. So, no matter what we rate this, I will give this cigar credit that they've done a pretty good job of delivering a lot of flavor in a
Yeah.
cigar.
So, do you think the cigar does better in the American market than the European market?
Absolutely.
No question.
Right? It's probably
Absolutely.
made for the American
In the
market.
European market, they wouldn't even know what to
Full
do with
flavor.
this cigar.
No, they throw it in the fireplace.
I mean, you can't buy a Padron in Europe.
Right?
Yeah, they're not.
It's like a
smart. They're not-
foreign.
they're
I mean,
not
the Nicaraguan
smoking.
Puro is like a foreign concept outside of the U.S.
They're not smoking.
So you guys mentioned AJ Fernandez. I have a question about that. Does he blend all of the, I guess the Cuban named New World cigars for
Altadis.
Altadis? Is he their guy for that? I know obviously he has his own line, but how does that work? Because he did the Ramon Ionis, right?
Yeah, the non-Cuban Ramon Ionis by AJ Fernandez. Yeah,
Which at some point we're going to do.
Oh,
I
he
think.
he does a shitload of collaborations
Yeah.
though.
a lot.
He collaborates with Caldwell. He collaborates with all kinds of.
So is he like a consultant or something that he gets hired to kind of blend these things? Or I'm curious how that
Pretty
works.
much.
It's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, he's
I need to get into that kind of consulting.
Yeah, you
that's
do.
That's a great business.
I think it would have to take a master to do what he does, right?
I'll be in for all the focus studies, focus groups.
no, he's a world-class guy.
All right, you guys ready to give it the formal Lizard rating
I think so.
on the Montecristo 1935? Rooster, you're up.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with a 7.
Me too. I'm in the same boat.
Okay.
7. Yep.
All right. I'm also going to give it a 7.
Oh, so far all around 7 here.
Yeah, strong 7.
Absolute 7.
Yeah, strong 7.
Exactly what I was thinking.
There you
Strong
go.
7. Maybe even a 7. If I had to give a decimal, I'd give it a 7.5. There's virtue in this. It's got there's merit to this. If it's not your thing, it may not be your thing. But if it is your thing, you'll like it. You
I think
know?
this goes back to I'm pretty sure I mentioned this on another episode. You know, when you're at a cigar lounge and you have to buy a cigar there, right? They don't allow you to bring in outside sticks. We can't bring in what we normally smoke, and you need to find something that's going to satisfy and not be a huge disappointment. This is a cigar. If I saw that, and I'm probably going to stay there and have 1 or 2 sticks, I would pick this up.
It would work.
I mean, I agree 100%. I would
Yeah.
pick it up. I would, if it was given to me, I'd smoke it in a social setting. Or if yeah, I agree.
So is this 7 a good recommend?
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
say so.
Good
I would say
recommend.
so.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you know what's interesting about what you just said about availability? I think you're going to find this over any of the other cigars we mentioned, any of the Padrones, even the Liga. We obviously talked about the scarcity of that right now. I think a cigar that's delivering what a smoker would be looking for in this cigar, a strong Nicaraguan, full flavor. I think you're going to be able to find this a lot more places than you are some of those other cigars. You know, and obviously the Montecristo Lounge, all those places are going to have these. More readily available than some of those others.
Yep. Yep.
No.
If you can't find the Padron, if you can't find the Davidoff Nicaraguan, I would highly recommend over this a Padron. But if you can't find those, this is a pretty decent substitute.
Yeah, I like it.
You know, and that's pretty good company.
Yeah, I think so. I'll be honest. We've talked about this before. The benefit of this podcast for the guys in this room. Obviously, I hope the listeners are getting a lot of value out of our experience here. But for me, obviously, trying cigars that I would never reach for normally, just because of my bullheaded, tunnel vision nature. We're trying stuff that I would have never purchased, and I think that's very eye opening for me. That I would slot this in somewhere. I would never a year ago have said to you guys, "Hey, let's try the Montecristo 1935." Nicaraguan. I just wouldn't have done it. I think that's really a benefit for me, what we're doing in the room here,
100% agree.
Yeah, the burn, the combustion, all very good. The construction was very good.
Yeah, clearly a high quality cigar.
It's a high quality cigar.
Yeah, and you think about the price point, you get a lot of bang for your buck in the sense that this leaves you just with so much flavor and so satisfied when you're craving a cigar that you feel like that's money well spent. I mean, I could have this and not have another cigar for the rest of the night, and I'll feel very satisfied, where there aren't that many cigars you would say that about.
Yeah, I like it's the similar feeling that I got with the Liga, where like you feel, even though the flavor profile for me like isn't right in my wheelhouse totally.
The long finish is what does it.
Yeah, but I feel good. Like it's that good feeling that you have when you smoke a strong cigar, like kind of picks you up a little bit, but in a good way. Definitely delivered on that.
All right, boys. The Montecristo 1935 Anniversary number 2 Nicaraguan, a flat 7 from the Lizards tonight.
A good recommend.
A very good
cigar.
recommend.
It's a good
Yes,
cigar.
absolutely.
No doubt.
And the Oban was great too. Pagoda, thank you very much. And we'll see you guys next week.
Keep smoking.
Thanks so much for joining us tonight. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to leave us a rating and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. If you have any comments, questions, if you want to reach out, say hello, tell us what you're smoking, email us, loungelizardspod, P-O-D, that's loungelizardspod@gmail.com. You can also find us on Instagram @loungelizardspod. We really appreciate your time, and we'll see you next week.